Okay, so picture this. I'm standing in line at a coffee shop in Chicago, and the barista looks at me and asks the simplest possible question, for here or to go?
Simple enough.
And my brain just froze, completely blank, for like 3 full seconds.
3 seconds doesn't sound that dramatic.
David, 3 seconds of dead silence while someone is standing there staring at you waiting, that is eternity. That is a lifetime.
Okay, fair. Continue.
And the wild part is, I knew every single word in that question, for here to go. It's not exactly rocket science.
So what happened in your brain during those 3 seconds?
Honestly, a whole background process kicked in. Translate the question into my own language, figure out my answer in my own language, then translate that answer back into English.
All while the poor barista is just standing there.
All while the poor barista is just standing there watching me short-circuit over a cup of coffee.
I've been there. That exact frozen moment where your mouth just refuses to move.
Right? And that little frozen moment, that's basically what we're unpacking today.
You know, the funny part is, people always assume that freeze happens because someone doesn't know enough English yet.
Right, like, oh, I just need more vocabulary, more grammar, then it'll go away.
But that's usually not actually the problem at all.
No, it's almost never the problem. Like I said, I knew that vocabulary perfectly well. For here to go. A 5-year-old could handle that sentence.
A 5-year-old native English-speaking one, sure.
Fair point. But my point is, this isn't really a knowledge problem.
It's a wiring problem.
Exactly, it's a wiring problem. And today, we're going to talk about how to actually rewire it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to EnglishFB.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. And Sarah, before we even get into today's topic, I have to say that coffee shop story is painfully relatable.
I figured it would be. I know I'm not the only one.
Not even close. So how's your week been?
Honestly, busy, really busy, but good busy, if that makes sense.
Good busy is the best kind of busy.
Exactly. Lots of walking, lots of coffee, and apparently lots of standing there awkwardly silent in front of baristas.
We are never letting that story go, by the way.
Oh, I know. It's going to come up in every episode now.
What about me? My week's been good too, actually. Busy, but good busy, same as you.
Good. Okay, so should we jump into today's topic?
Let's do it. So today, we're talking about something that honestly affects almost every single English learner out there at some point or another.
Yes, today's topic is how to train your brain to actually think in English instead of constantly translating everything in your head.
Which, by the way, is exhausting. Like, genuinely mentally exhausting.
It really is, and that exhaustion is exactly why people freeze up, the way I did with my barista.
So today, we're going to give you some real practical techniques to fix that.
Not just the same tired tips you've probably already heard 100 times.
No, real stuff. Stuff we actually use ourselves every single day.
And by the end of this episode, you're going to walk away with a whole toolbox, not just one trick.
A toolbox? I like that.
All right, let's get into it.
So here's the thing. When you translate everything in your head, your brain isn't taking one road to get to English. It's taking 4 roads with stop signs and honestly, a fair amount of traffic.
Traffic. I love that image already.
Think about it. First, you hear something in English. Second, you translate that into your own language. Third, you think of your answer in your own language. Fourth, you translate that answer back into English.
4 steps?
4 steps, when really it should just be 2. Understand and respond. That's it.
So it's like sitting at 4 different red lights instead of just cruising down an open highway.
Exactly. That's the traffic jam happening inside your brain every single time you speak.
And the whole goal of today's episode is basically building a highway.
A direct highway, straight into English, with no unnecessary stops along the way.
And the good news is your brain is actually really good at building new roads once you give it the right kind of practice.
It's called neuroplasticity, if you want the sciencey word for it.
Ooh, fancy.
I try.
But seriously, that word is actually really encouraging if you think about it. It basically means your brain can physically change at any age based on what you practice.
Right. It's not like you're stuck with the wiring you have right now forever.
Not at all. Every time you choose the direct English route instead of the long translation route, you're strengthening that new path a tiny bit.
And every time you skip it and translate instead, that path just stays weak and overgrown, basically.
Exactly. So today's techniques are really just about giving that new road enough traffic to become the obvious, easy choice. But here's the interesting part. You don't actually need to study harder to think in English. You need to train your brain differently. Okay, so the first technique we want to give you, we call it catch and rephrase.
I really like this one.
Here's how it works. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself thinking in your own language, you just catch it. Pause for 1 second.
And then
Ask yourself, how would I say this exact thought in English?
give us an example.
Okay, so this morning I was looking for my keys, and I literally thought in my head, where did I put them?
Very normal thought. Happens to me daily.
Right, extremely normal. But instead of just moving on with my day, I stopped and I said to myself in English, where did I put them? Where are my keys? I always lose these things.
So you caught the thought and rephrased it in English right there on the spot.
Exactly. And here's the thing. At first, I did hesitate a little.
Hesitate, meaning you pause because you're unsure, like this tiny little stall right before you speak or act. Everyone hesitates a bit when they first try this exercise.
Right, exactly that.
And that hesitation gets shorter and shorter the more you practice.
Every single time. It's like a muscle, honestly. The more you use it, the less you hesitate and the faster it becomes. Let me give you one more example, actually, because I think this really helps people understand it.
Go for it.
Okay, so later that same day, I was on the bus, and I thought in my language, this bus is so slow today.
Classic thought, honestly. Universal experience.
Completely universal. So I caught it, and in my head I said, this bus is so slow today. And then I pushed a little further. How else could I say that?
What did you come up with?
We're barely moving. Or this traffic is unbelievable. Or even, at this rate, I'm going to be late.
So one simple thought turned into 3 completely different English sentences.
Exactly. And that's the real skill we're building. Flexibility. Not just one fixed translation glued to one fixed thought.
So the real trick here isn't translating one sentence and stopping. It's coming up with 2, maybe even 3 different ways to say the exact same thing.
Right, so instead of just, where are my keys, you could also think, I can't find my keys anywhere, or my keys have completely vanished.
A little dramatic, but sure.
Hey, sometimes losing your keys really does feel dramatic, okay?
Fair enough, fair enough. And here's the thing. Once you start doing this a few times a day, you really start to get the hang of it.
Get the hang of it, meaning?
It means you start to understand how something works, and it becomes noticeably easier and more natural over time, like learning to ride a bike. At first, it's wobbly and awkward, and then suddenly, you just get the hang of it.
I love that comparison. And honestly, that's exactly what happens with this exercise. The first few days feel a little clunky and slow.
And then, almost out of nowhere, your brain starts doing it automatically, without you even trying.
Which is the whole point. Remember, we're building that highway.
No more traffic jam.
No more traffic jam.
Okay, actually, real quick, before we keep going, let's pause here for a second.
Oh, good idea.
For anyone who's new here, or maybe stumbled onto us for the very first time today, welcome to EnglishFB.
We're genuinely so glad you're here.
So this channel, at its core, is about learning English the way you actually learned your very first language, through real conversation, real stories, real everyday situations.
Not through boring grammar drills or endless memorization.
Exactly. We're not here to make you memorize a giant list of rules and tenses.
We're here to make you comfortable enough to just talk, make mistakes, laugh about it, and keep going anyway.
Every episode, it's really just the two of us, chatting the way we always do. Except now, you get to sit in on the conversation and hopefully pick up some new words and expressions naturally along the way.
Without it ever feeling like sitting in a classroom.
And if that sounds like your kind of thing, stick around, because we've got plenty more episodes just like this one.
Okay, now back to training our brains.
Right. Let's keep going.
Most people wait for a conversation partner to practice English. But what if your biggest practice partner is already inside your own head? So the second big technique is something people massively underestimate: talking to yourself.
Out loud?
Doesn't have to be out loud. In your head works perfectly fine too. It's called an inner monologue.
Okay, honestly, I do this a lot when I'm walking somewhere alone.
See? Most people already do this, just usually in their native language.
True. Guilty as charged.
So the idea is, start having that inner conversation in English instead. And listen, at first, this can feel a little overwhelming.
Overwhelming, meaning it feels like too much all at once, like your brain's being asked to handle way more than it can comfortably manage, and you kind of freeze up a little.
Yeah, that overwhelmed freeze.
Right, like opening your closet in the morning and having zero idea what to wear, and suddenly getting dressed feels like the biggest decision of your entire life.
Exactly like that. Totally overwhelming for absolutely no real reason.
So how do people avoid that overwhelmed feeling when they try the inner monologue thing?
Start small. Don't try to narrate your entire day in English right away. Just pick one little moment, maybe while you're making breakfast, and narrate that in your head. Okay, I'm cutting the bread. I really need more coffee. This pan is way too hot.
Just little thoughts.
Little thoughts. And here's the key. Don't just describe what you're doing. Actually react to it too. Have opinions. Ugh, this coffee is way too strong today. I really should clean this kitchen already.
So real thoughts, not just labeling random objects around you.
Exactly, because that's how we actually think in real life, right? We don't walk around narrating, this is a spoon, this is a cup. We have reactions, opinions, little complaints, little joys.
Especially before coffee.
Especially before coffee.
Honestly, this whole idea of connecting language to real thoughts instead of just labels, it changed how I practice completely once I actually understood it.
Same here. It's such a small shift, but it makes such a huge difference in how natural everything starts to feel.
You know what else really helps with the inner monologue thing? Using it for your actual emotions, not just your daily tasks.
Ooh, say more about that.
So like, when you're genuinely frustrated about something, try expressing that frustration in English right there in your head. This is so annoying. Or, I honestly can't believe this is happening right now.
And when something good happens?
Same idea. This is wonderful. Or, I'm so glad that actually worked out.
So you're basically connecting your emotions directly to English instead of always processing them in your own language first.
Exactly, and it sticks so much better that way because emotions get processed pretty deep in the brain.
It's kind of funny, isn't it, how people learning a new language always seem to pick up the swear words the fastest.
100% true, every single time.
And that's exactly why, because those words usually come attached to a really strong emotion.
Right, so if it works for the negative stuff, it works even better for the positive stuff too. Your joy, your excitement, your surprise.
I love that. English becomes the language of your feelings, not just your grammar homework.
You know, this whole conversation is reminding me of something my grandfather used to say all the time.
Oh, what's that?
Practice makes perfect.
Classic, but honestly, so true.
It really is. And it takes me straight back to when I was a kid learning to skateboard.
Wait, I didn't know you used to skateboard.
Oh yeah, I was obsessed with it for a couple of years, and I was terrible, like genuinely embarrassingly terrible.
How terrible are we talking?
I fell off that board probably 50 times in the very first week alone. Scraped knees, bruised elbows, one memorable incident involving my neighbor's fence.
Oh no, David.
And every single day, I'd go right back out there anyway. And after about 2 months of doing that, something just clicked. One random Tuesday afternoon. I wasn't thinking about balance anymore. My body just knew what to do on its own.
So it became automatic.
Completely automatic. And that's honestly exactly what happens with language. Right now, thinking directly in English might feel like falling off a skateboard 50 times.
Wobbly, a little painful sometimes, kind of embarrassing in the moment.
Exactly. But every single day you practice, you're building that balance bit by bit. And eventually you stop thinking about it entirely. And it just becomes a part of who you are.
I love that. Practice makes perfect, all the way from skateboards to full sentences.
Never thought I'd connect those two things in my life, but here we are.
Honestly, that reminds me a little of learning to drive for me. First few weeks, I was gripping the wheel so tight my hands hurt.
Same. Everyone's first driving weeks are a disaster.
And now I don't even think about it. I just drive. That's the goal with English too, right? Getting to that point where you just do it without the panic.
Here's something that trips up way more learners than grammar ever does, and it has nothing to do with how much English you already know.
Okay, so technique number 3 is all about what you're actually listening to and reading.
This one's a big one.
Huge one, honestly, because a lot of learners assume that if they just jump straight into really advanced content,
like the news or dense academic articles, they'll improve faster.
Basically looking for a shortcut to fluency.
Right, a shortcut, meaning a faster way to get somewhere, usually by skipping over a few important steps along the way.
But that shortcut usually backfires pretty badly, doesn't it?
Completely backfires. Because if you don't understand most of what you're hearing or reading, your brain just gets tired, frustrated, and eventually gives up altogether.
So what should people actually be listening to and reading then?
Content that's just slightly above your current level. Ideally, you should already understand around 70 to 80% of it naturally, without a dictionary.
So not too easy, and definitely not, say, reading a legal contract for fun.
Please, nobody do that for fun.
I mean, some people out there are into that sort of thing.
Sure, to each their own. But for most learners, that legal contract, definitely not a piece of cake.
Meaning it's really easy to do. Like, oh, that test was a piece of cake, honestly. Reading super advanced material way above your level is the exact opposite. It's frustrating and honestly, overwhelming.
Exactly, that's it.
So the real goal is content that challenges you just enough, but still feels manageable, not impossible.
Exactly. Not too easy, not impossibly hard. Right in that comfortable stretch zone in the middle.
And honestly, that's a big part of why we designed this podcast the way we did.
Exactly. We try to speak clearly at a genuinely natural pace, but not so fast that it becomes impossible for you to follow along.
Same idea applies to shows, by the way. Watching something with English subtitles is a great middle ground.
Really good middle ground. You get authentic native level audio, but you still got that safety net right there in the subtitles.
What about reading specifically? Any tricks there?
Yeah, so for reading, I always recommend what I like to call the 70% rule.
The 70% rule?
If you're reading something and you genuinely don't understand more than about 30% of the words on the page, it's simply too difficult right now. Set it aside and come back to it later.
So you should already understand at least 70% naturally, without stopping constantly.
Right, because at that level, you can actually guess the meaning of new words just from the context around them, which is exactly how native speakers keep expanding their vocabulary too.
Makes sense. If you're stopping every single sentence to look up a word, you're not really reading anymore.
Exactly. At that point, you're just doing a slow translation exercise, and that doesn't really build fluency the same way.
So what kind of material would you actually recommend for that?
Honestly, graded readers are fantastic for this. They're stories or short novels that have been carefully adapted to match a specific level, like B1 or B2.
Do those ever feel a little too simplified, though?
Some do, sure, but the good ones still tell genuinely engaging stories. You just glide through them without constantly getting stuck.
And once you're comfortable there, you can slowly move up toward more authentic stuff, like blogs or articles about topics you actually care about.
Which honestly matters a lot. If you love cooking, read cooking blogs in English. If you're into football, read football articles. Interest keeps your brain motivated to push through the hard parts.
There's one mistake many learners make. They spend years learning English, but they never train their mouth to actually speak it. Okay, technique number 4, and honestly, this one's a personal favorite of mine. Shadowing.
Explain shadowing for anyone who hasn't heard the term before.
So basically, you take a short clip, maybe 15 or 30 seconds, of someone speaking natural English, and you repeat it right along with them, almost at the exact same time.
Like literally speaking on top of the recording?
Exactly. Matching their rhythm, their pauses, their intonation, all of it. It feels a little silly the first time you try it.
Extremely silly, honestly.
But it's incredibly effective because you're training your mouth and your brain to move at a real native speed instead of that slow, careful translated pace.
And recording yourself speaking is a fantastic technique to pair with that.
Oh, definitely. And I'll be honest, it's a little painful the first time you hear your own recorded voice.
Always painful, every single time.
But it shows you exactly where you hesitate, where you slow down, where your grammar quietly slips.
And honestly, the real key with all of these techniques is being consistent.
Consistent, meaning doing something regularly, a little bit at a time, again and again, instead of doing a huge amount once and then completely stopping for 2 weeks.
Right, exactly.
15 minutes every single day beats 2 hours once a month, every time.
Every single time. Your brain genuinely needs that regular, consistent exposure to actually build new pathways that stick.
Can I give a quick example of shadowing in action, actually?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say you're shadowing a short clip where someone says, I can't believe how fast this year has gone by.
Nice, natural sentence.
Right, so you'd play that clip and speak right along with it, matching the rise and fall of their voice, the little pause before gone by. All of it, not just the words themselves.
So you're basically copying the music of the sentence, not just the lyrics.
I love that description, honestly. That's exactly it. The music of the sentence, not just the lyrics.
And after doing that with the same short clip, maybe 5 or 6 times, your mouth genuinely starts to remember the shape of it.
It does, and that muscle memory carries over into your own spontaneous speech way more than people expect.
Now here's a moment every single learner dreads, even the ones who sound completely fluent everywhere else. Okay, let's talk about something everybody deals with. Those moments where your mind just goes completely, totally blank.
Oh, the classic freeze-up moment.
Yes, you're right in the middle of a conversation and suddenly nothing, no words come out at all.
It happens to literally everyone, even fairly advanced speakers.
Even native speakers, honestly, way more often than people realize.
True, true. So what do you actually do in that moment?
First thing, keep a few filler phrases ready to go. Things like, let me think about that for a second, or that's actually a really good question, or even just, how do I put this?
Those buy you a little time to think.
Exactly. And they keep the conversation flowing naturally, instead of you just staring silently at the other person like a deer caught in headlights.
A deer in the headlights, that is exactly the feeling.
Second thing, simplify. If you can't manage the complicated version of your thought, just say the simple version instead.
Give us an example of that.
Sure. Let's say you want to explain, I'm debating whether to switch careers entirely or stay in my current job for a few more years. That's a fairly complex sentence.
Definitely a mouthful.
If that feels like too much in the moment, just simplify it. I'm thinking about my job. Maybe change, maybe stay, not sure yet. Simple, but it still gets your main point across clearly.
And once you've said that simple version, it's usually way easier to add more details afterward.
Exactly. It kind of unlocks the rest of the sentence for you.
Why does the freeze-up happen in the first place, do you think?
Usually, it's just plain anxiety. The moment you feel nervous, your brain sort of shifts into stress mode, and stress mode makes it a lot harder to access the words you actually already know.
So it's not that you forgot the language, it's more that you can't reach it in that moment.
Exactly. It's still in there. It's just temporarily locked behind a wall of nerves.
I remember one time in a job interview, someone asked me a totally normal question, and I just blanked completely for what felt like forever.
What did you end up doing?
Honestly, I just said, that's a great question. Give me 1 second to think. And that one sentence bought me enough time to actually calm down and answer properly.
See, that's the filler phrase trick working perfectly in real life under real pressure.
It really does work. Native speakers lean on those same little phrases constantly, way more than people realize.
Okay, so before we wrap up today, we always love giving you something practical to actually go try this week.
Yes, homework time.
So here's the challenge. Pick 3 routine moments in your day. Maybe making coffee in the morning, your commute, or getting ready for bed at night.
And during those specific moments, do that catch and rephrase thing we talked about earlier.
Try to describe what you're doing in at least 2 different ways.
And add a little reaction too. Remember, real thoughts, not just plain labels.
So instead of just, I'm making coffee, maybe try, I'm making coffee. Honestly, I really need this today. I barely slept last night.
See, that's a real thought with a real reaction attached to it.
Do that for 1 full week, just those 3 little moments a day, and trust us, you will genuinely start to notice a difference.
Small steps, but real, measurable progress.
And if you want an extra challenge, throw in the shadowing technique too, even just 5 minutes a day.
Ooh, good ad.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of everything we covered today.
We started with catch and rephrase, catching your thoughts throughout the day and expressing them a few different ways in English.
Then we talked about inner monologue, having real, genuine conversations with yourself in English throughout your day.
We touched on input quality, finding content that sits just slightly above your current level.
And finally, shadowing and recording yourself, plus a couple of solid tricks for those awkward mental block moments.
Solid list, honestly.
And listen, one last really important thing before we go. Be patient with yourself through this entire process.
Seriously, fluency doesn't happen overnight, no matter what anyone tells you.
Right. And fluency just means being able to speak smoothly and naturally without constantly stopping or struggling to find the right words.
And that kind of fluency takes real time for absolutely everyone. No exceptions.
So please don't compare your day 1 to somebody else's day 500.
Exactly. Everyone's running on their own timeline here.
Celebrate the small stuff too. Understood a joke in English today that you wouldn't have caught last month? That's real progress.
Had a full conversation, even with a few mistakes sprinkled in. Still progress, still counts.
Every single attempt is training your brain, one way or another, even the messy ones.
Can we talk about plateaus for a second? Because I feel like those trip people up more than almost anything else.
Oh, plateaus are so frustrating. Those stretches where you're practicing consistently, but it feels like absolutely nothing is improving.
Right, you're doing everything and your English just feels stuck in the exact same place, week after week.
But here's the thing, your brain is still working hard behind the scenes during those stretches, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's quietly consolidating everything you've been practicing.
So it's kind of like that skateboard story again. All those falls before the moment it finally clicked.
Exactly like that. And then, usually pretty suddenly, you hit a breakthrough moment and you realize you've actually improved a lot, almost overnight.
So during a plateau, the move is just keep going.
Keep going, trust the process, and don't read too much into one slow week.
Good reminder. Honestly, I needed that one myself, not gonna lie.
We all do from time to time. Even after doing this for years, I still catch myself getting impatient sometimes.
It's human nature, I think. We want the results right away, and language just doesn't work that way.
It really doesn't. But every single person listening right now is already further along than they were yesterday, just by showing up and listening to this.
That counts for something, genuinely.
All right. Well, this has been such a genuinely fun one to record.
Truly, I love these conversations every single time.
If you found this episode helpful, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us keep making more episodes just like this one.
And if you know someone else out there who's learning English, send this episode their way. Learning together always makes the whole process easier.
We'd also genuinely love to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and let us know, what's your biggest struggle when it comes to speaking English?
We read every single comment, and honestly, a lot of our episode ideas come directly from you guys.
So thank you, truly, for spending this time with us today.
Keep practicing, be kind to yourself, and remember, you are doing so much better than you think you are.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.